Well, I wanted him to penetrate me. I didn't think this was how it's gonna happen. For those who abandon the will of their god will face his divine judgment, and their spilt blood used to enrich the soil. I was reading! Hey! Oh, God. Oh, that's one way to start. Minnow, Nevada. The purple-haired singer offers the crowd a beatific smile paired with a small wave. They scream his name, fans clamoring to get closer, past the lineup of security, creating a barrier with their bodies. A few of them try reaching around the line of defense, their fingers desperate and outstretched, clawing at empty air. We love you! Please, marry me! Have my babies! The cacophony of voices makes his ears want to bleed. He resists the urge to curl his lips in disgust. They're all so damn annoying, placing him and his bandmates on a pedestal for the simple fact that they're attractive and can carry a simple tune. The world around him proves how shallow every single human being on this planet is. Day after day, city after city, target after target. There is not a single person out there whose line of thinking he can't predict, not a single person who stands on equal ground with him in the slightest. They're all freaking worthless. Although, some people are worse than others, their very existence defiling the sanctity of this world. And those are the people he swore to enact his divine judgment upon. An oath written in blood. The purple-haired singer moves with his bandmates towards the awaiting bus, ready to ship them off to their next destination, when he feels a buzz in his pocket. He pauses at the bottom steps of his tour bus, glancing down at his phone. Not gonna lie, this kinda looks like he's taking a selfie. It's a text, or rather, an alert. The purple-haired singer smirks as he skims over the details, studying the location, name, and basic information given to him by an unknown number. But he knows full well who this number belongs to. A month passed since the last text he received from them, and now he's eager to reach the touring band's next destination, Park Bend, Arizona. He hides a vicious smile as his bloodlust rises like a tide. Hey. The purple-haired singer peers up from his phone, and another man stands atop of the steps of the bus, looking down at him. The purple-haired singer can practically smell the smoke coming off of his bandmate's clothes. He resists the urge to wrinkle his nose from the acrid scent. Disgusting. The purple-haired singer always hated that smell, and his hatred for it intensifies because of the man standing in front of him, and what he says next, his gravelly voice grating on the purple-haired man's nerves. Let's go. You're holding up the bus. It's a command. As though he's got the freaking right to order him around. The purple-haired singer withholds a sneer, knowing full well they've got an entire audience behind them, and he can't let his mask slip, not until they're on the move again. The purple-haired singer gives the tired-looking man a smile as he plants a foot on the first step. Sorry, got distracted. My bad. For anyone else, the purple-haired singer comes off across as apologetic, but the other man's eyes narrow, telling the purple-haired singer he's not fooled by his act, but cannot say as much aloud or call him out for it. The tension between the two is palpable when they're finally standing on even ground as the purple-haired singer reaches the top step, forcing his bandmate to take a step back in order to make room for him. The tour bus's doors close behind them, and the purple-haired singer's facade drops. He gets up in the tired-looking man's face, whose response is to remain firm in his stance, despite the purple-haired singer grabbing him by the scruff of his shirt. Don't ever order me around again, or I'll make your life a living hell. The tired-looking man knocks the purple-haired singer's hand away, and his gaze narrows. Traveling on the same bus with you already is. The purple-haired singer curls his lips, and shoulder chucks the other man as he storms past, and there's a low whistle that comes from one of the seats. "Mom, the kids are fighting again and it's tearing our family apart," jokes a different bandmate with an easygoing grin. The man's arms are laced behind his head while he remains seated on one of the plush leather couches, his legs spread out in the center aisle. The purple-haired singer knocks his feet out of the way with a shove of his boot. Screw off. You know, for as many times as you've told me that, I'm starting to think you need a swear jar. Maybe if you collect enough cash, you'll pay for some much-needed therapy bills. There's a soft sigh as a man with light blonde hair fixes himself a cup of tea within the tour bus's kitchen. Steam rolls off his cup and waves as he brings it to his lips before he speaks, his voice gentle and soft. Please behave yourselves. I understand we're all tired, but antagonizing one another isn't the way to go about things. We've still got a long tour ahead of us, so please, let's just try to get along. The purple-haired singer curls his lips in annoyance as he strides past them and towards his bunk. Oh, look at our patron freaking saint over here. Let's not fool ourselves into believing that's an actual freaking possibility, especially with Tweedledee and Tweedle Dipshit over here. Aren't the pet names he gives us the cutest? The only downside is I can't figure out who is who. The easygoing bandmate grins at the perpetually tired-looking man. You want to be Tweedledee or Tweedle Dipshit? Either way, it's getting embroidered into a pillow. You can embroider? No, but when has my lack of knowledge on any given subject ever stopped me? The purple-haired singer doesn't hear the response from his tired-looking bandmate as he heads to the back lounge where he can get some much-needed peace and quiet away from the other band members. When he's out of sight, he draws up the details, all pertaining to you. Despite his tense interaction with his bandmates, he lets a cold and malicious smile find its way to his lips. He just can't wait to get to the next city. Chapter 1. You. Middle of nowhere, 3:32 p.m. In other news, Cake, the hit boy band that skyrocketed to popularity in recent years, is playing live tomorrow night at the Santa Valley Stadium in our very own Park Bend, Arizona. Can you believe that, Kenny? I'm absolutely ecstatic and looking forward to their upcoming performance. The car's radio crackles and a new voice joins in on the conversation, his tone coming across as both jovial and somewhat cartoonish. Yeah, I'm more shocked by the fact that you managed to score tickets for the concert itself, considering these reports. The other DJ clears his throat, and you can hear the rustling of papers as he continues. According to our sources, Cake concert tickets were sold out within seconds of their initial online release date, despite the website crashing due to the overwhelming traffic visiting the stadium's website. Of course, they managed to get the site up and running again, but many were logged down and missed their chance due to the lack of foresight. The other DJ pipes back up. Oh, I remember the public backlash that came after it. People took to Twitter and got the hashtag #LetUsEatCake trending for over a week before the stadium came out with an official statement apologizing for the error. It caused quite an uproar. I'll say, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Just to think, these are the same young men who, by all accounts, came from pretty modest and quiet backgrounds that took the world by storm. I don't think I've seen a boy band craze this bad since the last peak in the 90s and 2000s, but even I don't think those compare to the phenomenon that we're seeing today. Don't you agree, Bob? Bob, the other radio DJ, lets out a giant guffaw. Oh boy, that is an understatement. Also, I'm not sure mine and my husband's daughter would agree with labeling them as boy band, given their slight rocker edge. Big fan, huh? She's got good taste in music, then. Both her and my husband, Bob says with a boisterous laugh. The newest single, Cross My Heart and Never Stray, is all they can talk about, but he's happy bonding with her over it and vice versa. Now that's impressive. I know you talked about your husband not caring for modern-day music, but sounds like Cake brings the whole household together. Exactly. If they can make even my husband love their sound, then you just know they've got that special something going for them. When they start playing Cake's latest single, you turn down the dial on the radio in order to focus on the stretch of road before you. The blistering heat of the Arizona sun already makes concentrating hard enough as it is, without the added distraction of brainworm-inducing music playing through the speakers. Not to mention, you've driven almost, you look at your dash for mileage and cringe. Yep, you were right. You've driven almost 323 miles. There's another 200 miles left before you reach Park Bend, your home city. It's a nasty number for someone with so many idiot lights on in their car, but someone had to drop off your uncle's valuables at his new apartment after the divorce. Valuables being an obscene amount of guns. You sigh, wishing you were back home already. There's a number of things you need to get done and not nearly enough hours in a day for you to finish it all. Exhaustion already wearing you thin at the thought. You wanted to put your foot down. You really did. But your uncle said he had no other options. Your aunt refused to make the trip, and your uncle didn't have a car thanks to the traffic accident he got into a few weeks after the divorce got finalized. No one but you could make the journey. It wouldn't have been so bad if not for your aunt. Dealing with her was another matter entirely. Once you showed up and told her you were there to transport the guns, she kept screaming every time you tried loading them into the car. You had to restrain her when she tried to lunge for the trunk, arguing your uncle wouldn't know if one or two were missing. When you refused to budge on the matter, she became inconsolable and ran inside of her trailer, confining herself inside the small, squat bathroom for a full hour. When she finally returned, her demeanor returned to normal. Well, at least for her. Relatives are weird, man. Speaking of weird, how long was this stretch of highway again? You could have sworn it was a heck of a lot shorter the first go-round. Not to mention, you're flat out starving. You haven't eaten in several hours. You regret not stopping by the gas station 50 miles back, actively choosing to ignore the huge warning sign that said, "Next gas station is 100 miles" in bright red font in all caps. A terrible decision considering the gnawing in your stomach. You mull over your lack of options, wondering if any fries are lodged between car seats because you're that hungry, when something in the distance catches your attention. You squint, trying to figure out what exactly you're seeing, but the sun blinds you. You blink and rub the spots out of your eyes. Yeah, forget it. Whatever it is, you're already coming up on it. As the car eats up the distance, you make out the shape of a large lumbering figure, walking along the side of the road with their thumb jutted out and raised above their head at the sound of your oncoming car. Huh. What's someone doing all the way out here? A rumble permeates deep within your gut that's borderline piercing. Your stomach demands sacrifice, and this man will suffice! Sorry, buddy, you don't have time to pick up a stranger. Not to mention, you were always warned away from hitchhikers as a kid. Or at least you think you were. Every kid has that talk with their parents at some point, right? That aside, letting this man in reeks of future trouble, just like the smell of your engine. Which kinda smells like rotten eggs. You should really get that checked out. Just as you're pulling up right behind him, set on your decision, you noticed a distinct limp to his walk and blood blooming out of his right pant leg. Seeing his injury causes guilt to settle in your already empty stomach, weighing it down. He's clearly hurt and needs help, and there's no one for miles. You wrestle with your lack of options when he suddenly collapses into a heap on the side of the road. Ah, shit. There goes your self-preservation. You park just a ways ahead of him and rip off your seatbelt before launching out the driver's seat, hoping he's okay as you approach him with hurried steps. When you reach him, you fall to your knees and gently shake his shoulder, only to garner no response. Come on, please be okay. You lean down and press your head against his chest. You feel it rise and fall, noting the reassuring thump of his steady heartbeat. Good. He's still breathing. But what made him pass out? His injury or the sun or a combination of both? You sit back up and gently try pressing the back of your hand to his forehead. He's blistering hot to the touch. A worried crease forms between your eyebrows. Sir? Sir, can you hear me? He rolls his eyes, muttering something under his breath. But he's conscious at the very least. Another good sign. Don't worry, sir. I'm gonna call for help, okay? You pull out your cell phone, ready to dial the emergency helpline when a hand latches onto your wrist in a vice-like grip, and the man beneath you adjusts himself into a sitting position. You're taken aback by his fierce gaze, dark eyes glaring at you through a veil of purple hair. Don't call anyone. I'm completely fine. Yeah, but... Nails dig into your forearm, biting into your skin to warn you he means business. I said, I'm fine. I mean, I could listen to the sexy man. I mean, they specifically put sexy in parentheses, so like clearly I should do this, right? Right, I should do it. You bite your lip before ultimately deciding to lower your phone and listen. He seems coherent at the very least. All right, but at least let me take a look at that leg. You offer him a smile, and he visibly relaxes at your compliant nature and nods, leaning back so he can roll up his pant leg and examine the damage lying underneath. Not an easy task considering the fit of his jeans, but he managed to wrangle it up to his thigh where the wound lies. Blood congeals on his thigh. You can't help but wince to the side, unable to even see the extent of the injury because there's so much. You need to clean it off. Wait right here. You say and then head over to your car, locating the box cutter knife hidden deep within the driver's seat. You flick out the blade and then get to work on cutting the bottom half of your shirt, chopping off a decent-sized strip of fabric in order to suit your needs. Then you grab the now lukewarm water bottle and down some makeshift rag until it's nice and soaked. Finish grabbing what you need, you toss the box cutter back into the car before returning to the hitchhiker. The hitchhiker looks up upon hearing your encroaching footsteps. You watch as his eyes widen into the equivalent of large saucers, his lips slightly parted in surprise, as his gaze zeroes in on your newly exposed patch of skin. He studies the shape of your body, tracing over each detail with new eyes. You grow flustered at the attention, but you also don't hate it. It's nice in a way. You're a little disappointed when he averts his gaze, wondering if you misinterpreted the whole situation, until he bites at his bottom lip as if he's done something inappropriate. Your heart flutters at the implication. His reaction's kinda cute. You lower yourself down to him and try to ignore the blush spreading across your own cheeks. He's really attractive. Something you could help but notice when you rushed to his side and saw that intense expression, like an arrow striking you through your helpless and vulnerable little heart. But that's not the only thing that garnered your attention. Is it the bulge? Is there a bulge? This man. He's Adam, lead singer of Cake. You already wondered what someone was doing all the way out here, but for him to be a famous singer of all people? The question really nags at you. So, you say slowly, trying to keep your tone conversational. I couldn't help but notice this. You're Adam, right? The hitchhiker hesitates before nodding. Okay, so I don't mean to sound rude, but what in the world landed you all the way out here in the middle of nowhere asking strangers for a ride? Adam rubs the back of his neck, his response sheepish. I accidentally wound up in a ditch a few miles back and forgot my phone in the studio, so getting a hold of anyone was out of the question. I figured on the off chance that someone drove by, I could bum a ride. You digest his response with consideration, turning it over in your head like a Rubik's Cube. The explanation makes sense. And now, knowing who he is, you can understand why he wouldn't want emergency services showing up, considering the possible media storm his injury could fire up if the wrong people found out. No wonder he got so tense when you called. Damn. Poor guy. So, if you're honest with yourself, this entire scenario kind of feels like something ripped out of a bad piece of fanfiction, yet it's your reality. When your eyes drift up to his, an angelic smile softens his features. I'm lucky you showed up when you did. When he leans closer, he draws your hand away from his injured leg, gently clasping your hands between his, and your breath lodges in your throat. You're a lifesaver. Jesus! No wonder his fans go absolutely feral. You saw most celebrities put on a show for the world around them, but Adam's exactly how he presents himself on TV. Kind, down to earth, sweet. As he lets go of your hands, You urge your pounding heart to calm down by concentrating on the conversation at hand, returning your focus back to cleaning his injured thigh. It doesn't help considering how defined it is. Just like the rest of him. You clear your throat and try doing the same with your thoughts. Oh, was the crash how you got hurt? Adam shakes his head. His gaze remains fixated on your hands, working to wipe away the blood. I cut my thigh open while hiking with my friends a couple of weeks ago. One of the tree branches was poking out while me and my friends were roughhousing. Turns out the branch was just a little too sharp, and he accidentally pushed me into it. Got this as a souvenir. The doctor stitched me up, and I guess it tore back open once I started walking. He chuckles to himself. I didn't even notice, if he can believe it. You're surprised to hear this, considering he's got a performance going on later tomorrow night. Surely you should let it heal before going back on stage. Well, hopefully when I drive you back to town, we can find you a doctor and get it taken care of. I'm sorry I couldn't do anything else to help. Don't worry. You helped me more than you know. You flush at his praise. The smoothness of his voice and the way he says that makes you feel things you haven't felt in a long time in places you haven't felt it in a long time. You attempt to focus on the task at hand, wiping away the thick, congealed blood, but it's hard to concentrate when all you can think about is the fact that your hands are brushing against his thighs and you're so close to... Oh gosh, you're turning beet red from the thought alone. But maybe he feels the same way. Considering how he went slack-jawed at the side of your midriff, you're safe to assume he holds some form of attraction towards you. You're not wrong in thinking it that. Right? Nibbling at your bottom lip, you peer up at him and find his gaze locked onto your hands with blistering intensity. You can tell if he wants to rip your hands off his leg or guide them towards other more intimate places. The heat warming your body desires the latter. And so do your swirling thoughts. Something wrong? His gaze suddenly flicks upwards, and you jump, flustered that he's caught you staring. Nothing, just a little dazed is all, probably because of the heat. You duck your head and redirect your attention downward, ignoring the horny devil rampaging inside of you and no doubt destroying a city or two in its wake. But he's still watching you, his expression borderline piercing. You can't tell if that's a good or a bad thing. It feels like he's studying every movement, from the way your hands glide across his skin down to noting each intake of breath. You try not to squirm. Getting back on track, you start to notice something strange about the blood coating his leg. It chips and peels away like dried paint around the edges. And as you uncover more, you expect to find a gaping wound with remnants of stitches sewn along the edges, but instead, you find smooth skin underneath. What the? You go to look up, right as the man withdraws a small silver knife tucked into the waistband of his jeans before lunging at you. Well, I wanted him to penetrate me. I didn't think this was how it's gonna happen. You don't even have time to react before he brings the weapon down to your chest, causing your back to arch and your eyes to bulge in shock at the sudden turn of events. One moment he was so sweet, and now, confusion and terror battle in your mind for dominance. Okay, ow! The adrenaline pumps in your veins as you drive fending him off, your hands getting slashed in the process, causing blood to run down your arms in rivulets. Blood splatters against your face, droplets getting into your eyes and nearly blinding you. He's too strong, but you don't want to die. You don't want to die, so you have to stop him. What did I do wrong? You're practically screaming the words at him, scratching at his chest, his face, anywhere you can dig your nails into when he gives you the opportunity by pulling the knife out from where he stabbed you through the palm of your open hand. He scoffs at your feeble attempt to fight him off. Tears brim at your eyes as his knees pin your already weakening arms, restraining you in place. Yeah, okay, that once beautiful face now appears demonic in your eyes as he raises the knife, the silver gleaming in the sunlight as he brings it up before plunging it into your exposed chest over and over again. Okay, I get it. I'm dying. Okay, really dying now. Okay, the world fades to complete and utter darkness as one final tear escapes your eyes in the wake of your own death. Your question will forever remain unanswered. Damn. Bad and one. promiscuous. I didn't even get to smash him yet. Maybe I should just call. Maybe I should just call someone. Maybe then I won't die. So, yeah, let's just call. He's insane if he thinks you're just gonna let this whole thing slide. He's clearly injured and definitely needs a dressing for that leg. You yank your arm out of his grasp and press the phone to your ear before standing up, turning your back to the man as you glare at the sun beating down on you. Could it be any hotter? There's a click as someone picks up on the other end. Hello, what's your merc? She's cut off mid-sentence when the hitchhiker plucks the phone out of your grasp and drops it onto the ground. He crushes the device beneath a scuffed boot, almost looking bored as he does so. When he glances up, he offers a beatific smile. You recognize those features that span across multiple blogs on the internet stratosphere, from his gleaming white teeth, which were the perfect advertisement for 10 toothpaste commercials he sponsored, to the scar on his eyebrow that fans obsessed over. The lead singer of Cake stands before you, Adam Godin, here in the flesh. And now you also know him as the jackass who just broke your phone that he spent 3 years in customer service trying to pay off. You open your mouth to demand where he gets off on destroying other people's property when he rushes forward and plunges something into your shoulder. You're caught off guard, his momentum pushing you backwards, and your head cracks painfully against the asphalt. Dazed, you blink up at the man who stands over you as he wipes the blood off his knife by using his shirt as a makeshift handkerchief. There's no time to escape when he directs a cruel smile at you, crawling over your collapsed form with a predatory gleam in his eyes, boxing in your hips between his legs and trapping you underneath his body as he pins your wrist above your head. He reaches into his back pocket with his free hand to reveal a phone of his own. He taps something on the screen and all of a sudden, you're blinded by light, blinking the spots out of your eyes. Shit, left the flash on. Sorry about that. His expression is not at all apologetic. This son of a bitch! You kick your legs and buck your hips in a valiant effort to toss him off your body and probably get him off, throwing your weight around in hopes that you'll catch him off balance, but he doesn't seem fazed in the slightest. You give up after exhausting yourself. It's useless to consider wasting your energy on something that doesn't work. You'll have to find another way to escape. Once you've settled, Adam taps his phone screen again, and this time, there's no blinding light. He stares at the picture he just took for a moment, nods to himself, then shoves his phone into his back pocket, satisfied by whatever he sees. Now, where were we? His cocky attitude makes your blood roll to a boil. You try spitting in his face, but it misses by a landslide, despite how close the shot is. He gives a condescending smirk. Someone's testy. But you know, that wasn't very nice. Why don't you try being good for me so we can make this easier on the both of us? How does that sound? Nice went out the window when you stabbed me! Maybe I wouldn't have stabbed you if you listened to me and hung up the phone. Yeah, right! You get the distinct feeling that he's lying through his teeth. You don't peg him as the honest type, considering he's probably got a bunch of skeletons in his closet if he's attacking strangers for the fun of it. What did you want my photo for? Scrapbooking? His face darkens at your retort. How is that any of your business? Surely he's joking. You look at his tense expression. Nope, he's 100% serious. But at least he's not cutting you open like a slab of meat. If you can keep him talking, maybe you can find a way out of this mess. A present for your dear old mom and dad, then? What a lovely present, showing them your victims' portraits in an effort to show them how their son turned out. It really is the thought that counts. Don't talk about my mother. Oh? Does he have mommy issues? No, maybe he has daddy issues. Better yet, maybe both. That would explain a lot. What about your dad? Can we talk about him? Adam considers you for a moment, obviously confused by a cavalier attitude despite the current situation and the gaping flesh wound on your shoulder, but he's curious enough to see where it leads. What do you want to know about him? What does he know what you do for a living? He looks at you like you're stupid. Everyone knows what I freaking do for a living. What kind of idiotic question is that? You really wish you could slam his head into the concrete. It's not like you want to ask these questions, and you don't genuinely care about his history or his dad. You have other goals in mind. Still, it can't help, but note how he's not even answering the question and asking with one of his own instead. Why is that? You took that thought away in favor of distracting him further. Are you too close? Haven't seen him in years. You assume that's possibly because of his travels on the road, but it could also hint at those aforementioned daddy issues. Not to mention, that really doesn't answer your question. You ever think you'll pay him a visit? Adam's lips draw into a smirk that you can't get a good read on. I intend to. He doesn't elaborate further. Does he know you murder strangers for fun? His gaze narrows. He wants to say something, but thinks better of it when he grinds out. Next question. What does he do for a living? He works his jaw, seeming uninterested in the question. He worked as a preacher for my hometown church back in Tennessee. Ah, fan of the big guy in the sky, eh? I'm guessing you went to church a lot as a kid. Adam considers you for a moment. Ah, so that's your angle. I'm sorry? Yeah, you gasp as his nails dig into your wounded shoulder. Tears prick at the corner of your eyes, threatening to spill over, and you have to bite your lip to keep them in place. No way will you let this man get the self-satisfaction of seeing you cry. You want to keep me talking until you can think of a way to escape, is that it? Well, I'm sorry to inform you, but that won't happen. We're alone. I'm armed with a knife, and this highway is almost always deserted. Very few cars drive along this highway. The only reason people tend to travel here is for nefarious means or out of sheer desperation. I would know. This place was scoped out ahead of time. In other words, you're majorly screwed out of luck if you think someone's going to witness your murder. He gives you a sadistic grin. But you know what? Why not? I'll play this game for a little while longer. There's nothing better than giving someone like you the hope that someone will come by and magically save you, only to rip the rug out from underneath that pathetic mindset of yours as I slit your throat. He leans closer, his eyes flashing red. And in the end, you'll just be another worthless corpse discarded on the side of the road, right where you belong. All of your shitty choices leading you here, leading straight to me. So, if we're going down the wheelhouse of what my dad thinks, then maybe this was just destiny. He allows the tip of his free hand to glide across your cheek before roughly grasping your chin. Seeing you. Maybe he was actually onto something. Some people are just born screwed up. Yeah, screwed up as stabbing a stranger who tried helping you? Trying to convince me you acted on the kindness of your heart? You would have kept driving had I not collapsed and forced your hand. Not to mention, we're all guilty of sin, of something. Some of us more than others. Insane. This man is literally insane. You're suspecting he just wants any reason to kill you and justify his actions in his own mind. But getting back on the topic of my dad, it's pretty funny. Despite being a firm believer in his religion, my dad thought that destiny and fate play a big role in our everyday lives. He said that, while some things are in our control, there are some things we can't change based on the fact that God preordained it. Those things being obstacles put in our path, made by God to teach us life lessons. A test of sorts, you could say. Totally not foreshadowing. Okay, his nails bite into your wound, and you bite your lip so hard it bleeds. He smirks, taking pleasure in dragging out his toy's agony. Now, tell me something. Do you believe in destiny? No, I'm gonna be honest here, no. Your uncle always says honesty is the best policy, no matter the circumstances. Sure, it might get you killed here, but he's probably already planning on doing that anyway. No, you admit through clenched teeth. I don't. Especially when people like you exist, because what sick mystical bullshit would send me to someone like you as a test? You shake your head, aggravated by the thought. You're sure there are some people out there who use destiny or even God as a means to console themselves whenever life goes wrong by saying that it's all part of some bigger plan. Yes, for you. The one thing you believe in is the power of free will. You believe that shitty people do shitty things, and sometimes things go wrong that no one can control. Just like you use your own free will to try and help Adam, he used his to stab you. No outside forces involved, no destiny or fate or God controlling either of your actions. Just a single twisted man who clearly enjoys others' suffering. Is that so? Adam says before staring down at you for a moment, dissecting you with his eyes as he processed your words. You feel like one of those dead frogs they use in biology class to teach teenagers how bodies work and function, with your limbs all splayed out and pinned at your sides, ripe for organ harvesting. You wait for him to slice you wide open in response to giving the wrong answer, but to your surprise, he doesn't. Funny. I thought he'd try to lie and appease me. Usually when I ask someone at my mercy a question, they try telling me what they think I want to hear. But I actually prefer honesty, even if our views differ, because people who lie, those are the ones that piss me off the most. So you believe in destiny. Why does that not surprise me? Oh, I don't. I was just curious to see how you'd answer. You wanted to get to know me, after all. Even if it was just to buy time, I figure I'd still extend the same courtesy. But he tilts your head up with his thumb and forefinger so you can meet his gaze. His breath dusts the shell of your ear when he leans closer. Aren't you happy, knowing that you're the only person alive who knows this about me? I'd say that makes you pretty special in my eyes. Wow, narcissistic much? Your head shifts so you can catch his gaze, that cocky smirk still tugging at his lips. At least at this angle, he's no longer breathing in your ear like he's some dude running an ASMR channel and you're the binaural microphone. Seriously, you'd rather get stabbed again than have him breathing in your ear. I bet you say that to all your victims. His eyes narrow at your sarcasm and he draws back, which spurs you on because he's at least out of your personal space and you couldn't stop yourself at this point even if you tried. Truly am the luckiest person alive. I don't deserve you or your kindness. You really aren't like other serial killers. Okay, he claims his knife before burying it back into the same wound like you're his personal knife block. You gasp, your back arching from the pain. Ah, God, that hurts! You grind your teeth as he withdraws his knife once more, examining the fresh blood coating the blade. At least he's scowling now after getting knocked down a peg. I appreciate honesty to an extent, but you'll fare much better if you keep your mouth shut. Make me! A childish retort in the grand scheme of things, but you'll be damned if he's getting the last word in edgewise. Adam's expression twists as he angles the blade high above him, right before driving the knife back down towards your sternum with the most cold-blooded expression. Thanks to your playground taunt, he fully intends on killing you now. You have to think quickly and throw him off to ensure your survival. Smooch! You grit your teeth through the pain. It's the first thing that pops into your head. Before he can react, you grab him by the scruff of his shirt and pull him down. Caught off balance, he drops his knife and braces his hands on the ground on either side of you, unable to avoid your awaiting mouth. His eyes go comically wide as your lips touch. The barest whisper of a kiss that causes his body to go completely rigid, but not long enough for you to grab his knife and go for his jugular. Well, shit. You're no doubt dead now. You wait for him to shove you away, to scrub his mouth clean of you, to drive his mouth down in disgust at your lame attempt at a distraction. What you don't expect is for him to return your kiss with desperate urgency. Okay, how horny is Adam? 'Cause I know I am. I don't remember him being this horny. His mouth slants against yours, softening to the equivalent of melted butter, urging you to open your mouth in tandem with his. He's shaking uncontrollably, like a leaf caught in the wind. He's a man who clearly sought thrill from murder, but from the looks of it, hasn't experienced much, if any, intimate human interaction. He found an undeniable weakness. He's so distracted, eyelids fluttering in pure unabashed pleasure, that you take the opportunity to reach for the knife. Don't notice. Keep your focus on me. You're silently begging for him to remain unaware, to remain trapped, enraptured by your kiss. You're afraid he'll feel your erratic heartbeat climbing and just know that something's off. A fingertip brushes against the handle, followed by a second. And then when your third goes to join, it hits something, a small rock, which skitters against the ground. Adam goes to lift his head, lips parting from yours, his eyebrows furrowed in confusion to see where the source of the noise came from, when your hand wraps around the handle as your heart thunders in your chest. His eyes go wide as he comes to the realization of what you're doing. But it's too late because you put all of your rage and strength into drilling the knife deep into his side in order to incapacitate him. You grind your teeth as you tear through flesh with the metal of the blade, the blood soaking through your shirt that's no longer just your own, coating your hand and arms as you try to dig deeper in an effort to maim him. Adam cries out as you give him a taste of his own medicine. Take that, a-hole! Caught off balance, you use the golden opportunity to shove him off of you. One of his arms darts out, his other hand resting at his side from where you embedded the knife, right as you roll just out of reach. You lock gazes for a moment, and I give him a little smooch, just like, mwah! Bye, Adam! You're both panting, and you can see his confusion giving way to outrage, to hate. Well, the feeling's freaking mutual, but there's no way in hell you're sticking around to give him another chance at killing you. When he goes to move again, you grab a fistful of dirt from the side of the road that you manage to roll onto and fling into his face and eyes. Take that, pocket sand! He manages to block him with his arm, but by the time he looks up, you're already throwing yourself into the driver's seat of your car. You hear him calling after you. You hear him say your name. How does he know that? Shoving the thought aside, you rev the engine and hear the frantic crunch of footsteps approaching your car. His voice is snarl as he almost reaches where you're parked. But it's too late because you're getting the hell out of here and flooring it, putting pedal to the metal, watching as it continues to try and limp after you, still impossibly fast despite his injury. You watch as he gets smaller and smaller before disappearing completely. The adrenaline pumping through your veins causes your body to shake, heart struggling against your ribcage. For hours on end, you drive and you don't stop, your eyes darting over your rear view mirror to see if he somehow manages to teleport into your back seat, afraid he'll finish the job. You can't stop thinking about how he knew your name. You don't remember mentioning it. So how? Swallowing hard and seeing your home city on the horizon, you remind yourself that it doesn't matter because I'm okay now, you say, gripping the steering wheel so hard your knuckles turn white, biting your lips so hard it bleeds. I'm okay. Him? Ooh. Park Bend, Arizona, 8:15 p.m. Dower Hotel. Adam manages to return to his hotel room without much trouble after making a singular phone call. He's lucky it didn't hit anywhere vital. Just a flesh wound that he managed to stitch together himself, the action of pushing a needle through skin like second nature at this point. He lies back on the king-size mattress, spent from walking under the crisp sun and actually getting hurt in the process. Everything feels ticklish since that kiss from hours earlier. Like his nerve endings are standing on end, hypersensitive to everything he touches, making him hyper-aware of the world around him. He absentmindedly strokes his bottom lip. God, he can still taste you, feel you. Your body pressed against his, the way you moved beneath him, now a permanent stamp on his consciousness. Did he like the fact that I stabbed him? He wants to see you again, so I can stab him again, right? To touch you, to kiss you, to claim you, to mark you. Unwarranted images of you invade his mind. His fingers skim down his chest, along his belly, imagining that they're your hands instead of his own. He slowly unbuttons his jeans, unable to take this corrosive heat burning inside of him. It's horrible. He feels like he's going to go mad if he doesn't do something quick. Adam needs to get you out of his system, and he's desperate to take that step, despite the fact that it's something he's never even tried, when a woman's face flashes behind his closed eyelids. She stares at Adam in disappointment, tears cascading down her cheeks and over her cuts and scars. Just like him, she mouths. Adam gasps as his eyes snap open and he rips his hand away from his zipper. Tears prick at the corner of his eyes as he's filled with disgust for nearly caving in to his carnal desires. Okay, so I remember this from when I first played it, but it's still so funny to think that Adam feels so guilty about nearly creaming to us. Like, it's hilarious because, like, as his hands are, like, reaching down, it's like, oh, mother! Oh, God! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Your face flashes behind his closed eyelids. The sun illuminates your frame, like you're an angel descending from the heavens. Stop it. You pull him down again and kiss him. You make him feel things he should not, the feelings he hates and despises so much. Again, he sees a vision of the woman crying, sees her devastation as he gives in to the one sin that destroyed the world around them, the one sin that took away everything he held dear. After you promised me. Enough! He chokes out a sob and curls into a fetal position, wishing he could bleed you out of his pores and untaint himself. But you left your mark. But you left your mark. If he wants to get rid of this fever, his ache, this disease burning within him, he needs to locate the source and destroy it by tearing it out by the root. Adam calms himself down by taking a deep, concentrated breath. A plan begins to formulate in his mind. As long as he retains focus on his original goal, he can handle these odd, burgeoning feelings that overwhelm and threaten to break him. When he opens his eyes, they shine with a determined gleam. Adam promises himself right then and there that he's going to find you again. Well, I'm going to have to end this here, okay? But that was chapter 1 of You and Him. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. We will be back soon enough with chapter 2 of this. We are playing through, like, chapters 1 through 3 before we get into the latest update, which is chapter 4. Just in case there's anything new. And also, of course, like, I want to, like, give Hermit, like, the benefit of the fact that the playthrough that I'm putting up here is of the latest version. And, like, so that y'all can enjoy the story as it was meant to be seen. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And, as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.